Hey guys, welcome to another PHP lesson. Today we're gonna start talking about loops, which is a very important concept in programming. And if you're already familiar with Visual Basic, you would know about loops already. So for you guys, it'll just be a matter of adjusting to the PHP syntax for while loops. So the first thing you want to do is create some variables, and the goal of this program is to create a compound interest calculator. Now, what is the compound interest calculator? Basically, we have an amount of money that we're going to add a certain percentage to every year. So basically, we have an amount of money called the principal. So let's make up a variable P. Now, keep in mind in PHP, the variables are case sensitive. So if you put capital P, then you must put capital P later on in the program. So P is equal to 1,000. And make sure you have quotation marks at the end of every line, otherwise the program's not going to work. So this means that initially you have $1,000 in the bank. And then we're going to make up a variable called I, which is 0.05. And this means that every year your principal increases by 5%. And then we have a variable T, which is the time in years. How much T equals time in years. How much money will you have at the end of T years? How many years? How much money will you have at the end of this many years, 5 years? Okay, so let's echo that on the screen so we know what this program does. So echo. If you invest $, dot variable P. Now notice these two $signs mean very different things. $P meaning points to the variable P, whereas this $sign is what's going to appear on the screen as a normal $sign. At an interest rate, put a little space there, of dot is the I can never pronounce that word. The operator that attaches strings together, concatenation or something like that, at an interest rate of bracket, we're going to put in the I variable times 100. Right, because I right now is 0.05. So we're going to multiply by 100, which will say 5. And then we're going to attach it to the string with percentage sign per annum. And with a BR tag at the end. Now just see what it does. In the program. See, I knew there was something going to be undefined variable P, so P has to be capital. Right, now what happens? If you invest $1,000 at an interest rate of 5% per annum, then now we're going to use the while loop. Now the while loop, usually you need to create another variable which I'm going to call n, and I'm going to make it start at 1. Okay, now we're going to say while the variable n is smaller than or equal to 5. So what that means is we're going to test whether n, the variable n, which is right here, is going to be smaller than or equal to 5. If it is, then this is true, and then we will keep executing commands within these brackets while this is true. So as soon as n is bigger than 5, then we will jump out of this while loop. So we won't execute these commands anymore. So what commands are we going to execute? Well, we're firstly going to increase the principal by 1 plus the variable I. Now what this does is it multiplies the $1,000 by 1.05. So essentially it becomes $1,050. And then we're going to echo at the end of year 1, at the end of year 1, you will have this much money, and then we have a line break. You will have this much money after end of year 1, and then we increase the n variable by 1. So n is going to be 2 at the end of this while loop. At the end of these instructions, n is going to be 2, and then the while loop is going to test this condition again. So n is 2 right now, so we're going to repeat this instruction. So the principal, which was $1,050, we're going to multiply it by 1.05 again, so it's going to be even bigger, and then it's going to say at the end of year 2 you'll have this much money, n plus 1, which will become 3, and then it'll keep going until n is bigger than 5. So if we run this program now, it should work. Again, there's an error in line number 23, so let's go to line number 23, and the error is here. We didn't put a quotation mark there, and we didn't put a quotation mark here. So refresh that. Here's a program. If you invest $1,000 at an interest rate of 5% per annum, at the end of the first year you will have $1,050. End of the second year you will have this much. Third year you'll have this much. Fourth year, fifth year. So this is the reason why we have while loops. If we didn't have a while loop, we would need to retype this code 5 times, and it's a bit tedious if you have to retype the code, whereas right now with the while loop you just type this code once and it executes this 5 times for you based on the condition that you have set. Okay, so hopefully you guys understand a bit about while loops after watching this tutorial. See you guys next time.